Hey guys, welcome back to Gria's podcast. I'm your host Alexis, and it's a good day today to be listening to a podcast, especially that summer weather for some of us. Hopefully that it is nice and warm outside and you guys are starting your summer bucket list. But today we are actually going to dive into something that I'm very passionate and like to just a knowledge about it, no educational background about it besides what I know and what I research and stuff. So let's dive in. Today's topic is on artificial flavoring. And what's the big deal? So, anybody that knows me knows that I am a person that does not consume that or try my best not to consume it. Of course, sometimes some places may have it in there, but for the most part, definitely don't consume it because I don't snack like I used to, and I don't drink any sodas or anything that has like really color and stuff. Even with my cocktails, I normally just do like a tequila something, but nothing with like any type of extra stuff to it. So besides that, let's dive into today's topic. So, what do I mean by that? So, with food itself, we of course know that it's safe to consume theoretically, but you randomly have all these illnesses that happen that are preventable, right? And food is like the main factor to it. But our officials consider safe because it doesn't cause death or even immediate health problems. Because, like, trust me, if some of the stuff that they now have on the market that is considered safe and doesn't cause any harm, because obviously artificial flavoring is not harmful, but it does have some effects that it could affect your day a day basis. So that's why I want to like kind of just I'm not really like a bug in your ear type thing, but just be self aware of when you next time go to a grocery store and get your favorite snack. And if you don't care and you know someone that does care in regards of like knowing what they're eating, enlighten them about this. So I'm just here to talk about how it might explain something in our lives and explain the basic knowledge and not in a depth way, in a different approach so that us people that don't have medical background or doesn't know the science behind it or just anything, just get the basic stuff. So where does it mainly come into when it comes in the US? So with the US, the rule stands by for today about it and how there should be, I feel like, more studies on how it affects our lives in a sense of way. Because I know everything that the FDA or anybody in regards of the food organization is, they definitely do their checks and make sure it is safe and no cause, no harm. So that's good. But of course, you don't want to be lied to exactly like, hey, what am I actually eating? So kind of you want to know, or maybe you don't want to know. That's why some people, when they hear about how certain foods are made, they don't want to eat it anymore because now it ruins it. I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to just kind of enlighten you with some facts about how artificial came about in the US and what it is today. So, what is artificial flavoring? So, a substance that functions in which to impart flavor. So, we'll go into that as well, where essentially is not driven from the actual origin of fruits, spice, fruit juice, vegetables, vegetable juice, edible, yeast, herb, and you name it. Like even your meats, fish, eggs, dairy products, or even fermentation products thereof. So it's definitely something like an additives designed to mimic the taste of a natural ingredient. So essentially, it's not the actual like source of it. It's a chemical compound in a sense of way how I can definitely like a flavor compounding where it mimics the actual flavor that I'm eating. So for example, like mango candy, you're gonna get like a hint of like maybe mango flavor, but it's not gonna be a strong flavor like you would if you just had a mango. So that's what they were saying in regards of like artificial flavoring and what it is. And the taste of additives designed to mimic the natural ingredients made with synthetically driven raw materials and artificial flavoring structures. Miners, the natural compound offering manufacturers a cost effective way to achieve a specific profile. And really, I don't see a lot of nutrition facts about artificial flavoring, but there was one source that I looked up a while back and it said that it was cost effective, which makes sense now because like obviously if you want to be able to continue to produce something that people do enjoy and like to eat, you're going to like make more of it, you know? Or if you don't feel like making like candy out of actual mangoes and producing more mangoes and stuff or just any fruit or veggie, you're going to mimic it. So it makes sense of the idea, but that's more so of like the positive side of it. So, yes, if you think about most people don't know the difference and see it as not a big deal. But for example, we have colors and dyes that our favorite candy or chips have. If you read on the blogs or even social media, you might came around with videos that say, "Hey, by the way, don't eat this food." Blah blah. This some of those stuff is legitimate, and some of the stuff is like people are just saying stuff just to say stuff, just to get famous, I guess. Which, in my opinion, is like don't fabricate any information. And if you're not in that field, you know, and you're just passionate, just let your viewers know, like, hey, I'm just letting you know. But some of the videos, it's kind of hard to like see what is real and what is not. But I did read on the back of the labels. If you notice, like most of us, some of us may read the back of the label, some of us might just pick up the item and just keep going and just keep going our day. But on the back of the label, there is a list of colors like blue one, yellow 5, red 40, and green lake or something like that, which personally I've never heard of, but I don't really, even when I was eating artificial flavoring like way back, because I'm 25 and I haven't really consumed much of that stuff, and I don't snack or anything like that anymore either. So when I did, I never experienced eating that type of flavor. It was always like maybe hot Cheetos, which is mainly has red 40, and we'll actually dive into red 40 on a different episode and talk about the side effects and stuff. And with these dyes, they do have side effects in a way where it's not something that's problematic. That's why I say that it's technically, if you look up artificial flavoring, it's considered safe, which is true because it doesn't cause any actual like immediate illness or anything like that. But it does affect your body and your just whole process as you get older, you know? So, and it does affect how your body function as well. So let's dive into how it even got so popular because now it is everywhere. So it's not like it's hidden or anything like that, but of course it's not being advertised on every single label that you see on your favorite candy, your favorite chips. Like there's some products that I've seen now at the grocery store where they actually label it because technically like you should let people know like, hey, you're consuming this because someone can think that they're eating something that may be less calories or less this and they think it's healthy and it's really not. So that's why I say like, you know, I'm a type of person where I kind of like look at watch what I watch what I eat, and then on top of that, I really when I go to a grocery store, I rarely go in depth of going to the snack area or even to like the frozen aisle and all that. mainly in the vegetable, fruit, whole food stuff. So we'll talk about how it got popular, but it started in 1851, where the late 19th century, where there was a total of 20 basic artificial flavors on the market at the time. And probably now, there's probably more than that, where they can make more things out of it. So that's why I said the main reason of becoming a highlight in the US and now how it is today, it started from the first artificial flavoring, vanillin. And of course, based off of that name, you can kind of just tell, like, hey, like, just get a clue, like, what I'm talking about. And it is essentially the flavor compound of vanilla. This was the beginning of making of all artificial flavor and natural flavor. So there is a slight difference between artificial flavor and natural flavor. Natural flavor actually comes from the source, but they do some type of modification to it. So we will talk about that as well in this series. So the story begins in 16th century, and I believe the origin was in actually in Mexico because I looked it up because I was trying to figure out what part of this area was at, and it said Mexico, and it says where the vanilla was used to make chocolate to be enjoyed by Europe. So of course you're talking about importing things and getting, some value to it. So that's where it came about. And it started out from technically the outside the US, which made a growth in, but making it inaccessible and valuable because part of the reason was due to the processing of harvesting natural vanilla beans. And essentially, from what it said on this source, was that vanilla beans actually take a year to to like harvest. So, and it's only one day. It's not like it takes one day of the year. So essentially, if it doesn't harvest or grow or anything, there's no vanilla bean and they can't process anything. So, of course, moving into modern times like today, the known flavor vanillin was the first to be a thing in the US. And like I said before, it makes sense to mimic something that is not available all the time. Because, yes, it takes a lot, and then you're going to have to get a bunch of farmers and all these people to like produce way more if you want to eliminate stuff. But or like ultra stuff. So I think now that I've seen at the grocery stores too that the artificial dyes and coloring, they actually have healthy versions of it. But it's still kind of I'm still skeptical about it. I haven't actually tried them, but I have looked at the labels and some of the stuff like I it looks healthy, but then I'm like, is it really healthy? Because like of course like it is natural, there's no artificial flavor and dyes and stuff, so that's of course a good sign. So I think they have starburst, healthy, like a healthy alternative if you don't want to just eat starburst or you want to eat starburst but you want a healthy version of it. They also have like almond joys too, like it's called the brand Unreal. So they have a lot of stuff out there now that you can like alter if you're like not wanting to eat that stuff anymore and you want to actually still enjoy it. So they have stuff out there for you. So during the time when vanilla became the first, but with the Pure Food Drug Act, which was orchestrated in 1906, still had some rules to be applied to it, which protects consumers from fraud and health hazards, which makes sense because if you do not speak or about any type of things of your product, then you're kind of like putting people in harm's way. So it is to the nation's first regulated distinguish between genuine and imitation foods. So this would mean that vanilla products containing some of the vanilla bean, while artificial vanilla had to be labeled to be imitation, despite being more chemical pure. Because essentially, you have something that is portraying as vanilla, but it's not actually like pure vanilla. Like, you know, the taste difference of that. So it's like slightly different. But even like, I think I had Oreos a while back. I don't remember the last time I had Oreos, but they have vanilla in it, and you can slightly taste it, but you can't taste it like if you actually had like a vanilla, like the actual vanilla being taste to it versus like an artificial taste to it. You can tell like it's not really a strong vanilla, but it's there. So I feel that makes sense in regards of the slight difference of the flavor profile. But this is just stating that they did have to indeed put a label and stuff on it to let people know, like, hey, this has artificial flavoring or artificial something, you know? And most people think that all or majority of food contains artificial just because of the dynamic. But here it is state that anything contains artificial flavor must state it in some shape or form, and it's because it will be considered misbranding and label. So I had tried this energy drink when I was in school for pharmacy, and I remember I didn't take that flavor per se. I took a different flavor, but I remember seeing one of the bottles now saying it has artificial flavoring when none of it had artificial flavoring and it was apparently vegan. So that kind of like took me to surprise because I'm thinking like something that's healthy and someone that, like, you know, if someone's trying to eliminate having any type of artificial flavoring or dyes and stuff, and you have something that's considered vegan, why in the world are you adding, but it's an energy drink, but I'm just saying, like, why in the world are you adding artificial flavoring? But I guess the added enhance the flavor, I guess, of what they were trying to do. But it just kind of took me to surprise. So that's where that connection comes about when it comes to misbranding and what they had to do. Essentially, if they do that, they have to pretty much take it off and then give you a new set, and then you see something different. And it's legal. It's legal, of course, to fix what you need to fix, and they probably give you amounts of days. But that's another whole topic to talk about. So that's why if you see some of the snacks in the market, it says artificial flavoring either on the front side or the back of the nutrition fact label. So it's no hidden secret of it being known. It's just that some of the flavors are more noticeable than others. And since the flavor science became such a big thing since the flavor vanillin, it was more of a growth in more so with anything in life. You have real and fake. But with what I found interesting is that there and more simple way of thinking is that making a fake version of food will be less expensive or flavoring or anything like that than the real thing. So you have more buyers and it's easier to make and more. So to keep up with population and making sure that everything lasts longer and then the benefits by profit in both ends. But the catch of all of this is we all come from different generations. So some things are more prominent than others when it comes to what it does on the inside. And then the side effects are common things that come or go and develop or leave permanently. For instance, the side effects can be a range of big or small. So I definitely hope in the future they will just consider their whole process of just educating more, you know? Like, I know, like, there's only so much information that they can put on a label, but at least just let people know, like, hey, this is what you're eating, for people that actually look at that stuff, you know? because you do go to a grocery store, and if you're on a diet or if you're trying to eat healthier or you're and still enjoy your snacks and stuff, you want to be able to have true facts and stuff of what you're actually consuming. Like some of the stuff, obviously, you can look up or go to professionals and ask them about it. But at the end of the day, I feel like just for basic knowledge and stuff, I feel like it could help with us better understanding what we're actually eating. Just to give us like an option, like, hey, it's like I know now they do have more options out there for you not to like consume that stuff. But like me growing up, none of the stuff, like I don't remember looking at any of that stuff, like the healthy alternatives of anything that does have dyes and now you don't have dyes. I never looked at that stuff and I didn't even know if it exists when I was younger. So that's all I consumed when I was like a big snacker, especially in high school and when I first got my first and second job, I think. And then I think when I got to Target. And then I think I remember watching a video and I looked it up and stuff. So I was like, okay, just kind of like, oh, this is not promising, but hey, just to consider like it, not only food itself. I know other foods, like especially whole foods, they do have their pros and cons, but same thing with snacks that have dyes and stuff. It can have like sorts of side effects that are not like crazy or anything like you're like oh my god my heart or something, maybe more so like maybe messing with your mental health, where there's a lot of things out there in regards of red 40 which we'll dive into next time, and I will let you guys know when the next episode is, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. And this is the end of this episode. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, and more, of course. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And of course, definitely leave some feedback and we can conversate about it because I love getting like new information in regards to things or just seeing how I'm doing. So definitely would like that as well. And for now, bye.